What is up guys, TopTierYugioh here, and today I want to share a combo guide for the Rokket Orcust deck. And so in this video I'm going to start with some general Orcust combos, and then we're going to move into the ones involving the Rokket engine. But we got to start with the basic Orcust plays, the foundational plays, because these are what you build on top of with the Rokket engine to allow you to make the crazy ones. So let's go ahead and get started, but before we do, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because I do post about 3 times per week. And so if you're looking for some competitive, consistent Yu-Gi-Oh content, this is the place to be, and so be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Alright, so moving into this first combo, all we're going to need is 1 copy of Girsu, and then this 1 Girsu is going to allow us to end on a board of Rusty, True King of all Calamities, and then a Fog Blade. And so to do this combo, what we're going to do first is start by normal summoning our copy of Girsu, activating the effect to send a copy of Orcust Nightmare to the graveyard. Then from there, we're going to use Girsu's other effect to summon a token to both sides of the board. Now we can link away this token into a copy of Linkuriboh, and now we can link the Linkuriboh and the Girsu away into a Galatea. From here, we can link Galatea off into a Linkross, and then Linkross will summon 2 more tokens. Zones don't really matter for this combo, so don't really worry about that. So next what we can do is use Linkuriboh's graveyard effect to tribute 1 of the tokens to revive itself. And then we can link the Linkuriboh and Linkross away into a barricade board blocker. And now if you have any other Orcust cards in your hand that you might want to discard, or anything else that you want to discard, now would be a good time to do it. And so you could use barricade board blocker's effect, but for the sake of this combo we don't actually need to. So from here what we're going to do is activate our Orcust Nightmare's effect in the graveyard. And so we're going to banish our Nightmare to send a copy of Cymbal Skeletons to the grave. Now we're going to banish the Cymbal Skeletons and use that to revive our copy of Galatea. Then from here we can activate Galatea's effect, and we're going to shuffle the Cymbal Skeletons back into our deck in order to set a copy of the field spell. And then we're going to activate it. I'll just put this here. Don't worry about the zones, put it in your field spell zone. I know this is not the field spell zone, but whatever. So then from here what we're going to do is overlay our copy of Ding Girsu using the effect to attach, and we are going to attach our Orcust Nightmare to the Ding Girsu, and now we can link Ding Girsu and the barricade blocker into Rusty. So we've already got the Rusty just off of 1 card. That's pretty ridiculous, but from here we can go even further, and so we can activate Rusty's effect, and we are going to, let's see, send a copy of, where is it? We are going to send a copy of Boots to the grave. So dump Boots to the graveyard, and then we're going to use that to set a copy of Fog Blade. Now we can banish Boots for Boots effect, search a copy of the rank up spell, set that as well, and this is going to be the end of our setup on turn 1. But from here on the opponent's turn we have more that we can do. And so on the opponent's turn, let's say they start playing and we want to interrupt them, what we can do is start by, let's see, activating our Nightmare effect. So we've got Nightmare, we can use that to send another copy of Cymbal Skeletons, we can revive that to bring back our Ding. Then we can use Ding to send a card on the opponent's side of the field with Ding Girsu's effect, or we could use Rusty to destroy another card. So we've already got 2 kind of pops right here, like Rusty pop, Ding send. We also still have the Fog Blade, so that's already 3 disruptions. And then we have the rank up spell, which would allow us to summon a True King of all Calamities for a 4th disruption, potentially. And so that's pretty ridiculous. But what we can also do instead of that, so if we kind of rewind a little bit, instead of using Ding Girsu to send a card, we could also use Ding Girsu to attach. So if we want to get our engine set up for next turn, we could also just attach the Nightmare, and then once we attach Nightmare, we can use Rusty to pop the Ding to remove it so it has no materials, so that we could rank it up again. And so if you do make that play, what you want to do is summon Ding, and then summon it under Rusty, of course, to one of Rusty's link points, and then you'll make it to where you have Ding Girsu at chain link 2, and then Rusty at chain link 1. And so at chain link 2, Ding will attach Nightmare, then at chain link 1, it will pop Ding, and then that'll remove the material, and now it has no material, and so that you can rank it up into a copy of calamities, and then you can use calamities to like shut off your opponent's turn. And so that's pretty ridiculous. You also still have the fog blade as well, and so if your opponent has like a dark ruler or a droplets or something like that, you can still have more disruption as well. So, and then you also, since you still have the token left on the board, you can always tribute the token to revive the Linkuriboh if you'd like, and that's going to be able to protect your board from attacks. You can summon the Linkuriboh anywhere you want. It's not being summoned from the extra deck, so you don't have to summon it to a link point or anything. So that can protect you from attacks, as well as on your next turn give you another thing that you can link away with on your opponent's turn. Although even next turn you can link away with Link Cross tokens, so that's another thing. So you have multiple forms of disruption, and you have the ability to follow up because you're going to have Orcust, Nightmare, and Graveyard, and you have a ton of link materials to work with. So that is pretty much it for the first combo. Let's go ahead and move into the next one. Alright, so for this next combo, all we're going to need is one copy of Girsu and then any extender. In the Rokket Orcust deck that I profiled, I was playing extenders like Fleur de Lis and Magician Souls. Either of those work, but really any other monster that you can put on board is going to work for this combo. And so it's going to start exactly the same as the other one. You start with, just normal summoning your Girsu, using your Girsu's effect to send Nightmare to the graveyard, and then using the other effect of Girsu to summon a token, using that token to go into Linkuriboh. And the combo is really exactly the same. You're just adding an extra monster on top of your board. So I'll go through it a lot quicker. So then you link these away into your Galatea. Galatea can be turned into your Link Cross. Link Cross summons the two tokens. And then tribute a token for Linkuriboh. And then both Linkuriboh and Link Cross are linked into Barricade Borg Blocker. And now we're about to use Orcust Nightmare effect to dump symbols and revive the Galatea, and that's gonna lock us out of using, or lock us into using dark monsters only. And so before doing that, we can special summon the extender. If your extender is a dark monster, then this doesn't matter, but in this case, since I am using a light monster as the extender, so if it was like a Cyber Dragon Noshter, which is also another good option, you'd special summon it first. Doesn't really matter where you summon it. Again, I'm just trying to fit everything in the frame. But now that we have that going, we can, tokens don't go in the graveyard, so this shouldn't be here, but we can use Nightmare's effect. So we're gonna banish that, dump our Cymbal skeletons to the graveyard, and then use Cymbal's effect to banish itself, and then special summon Galatea back. Now we can use Galatea's effect, shuffle back the Cymbal skeletons into the deck, and we are going to set and activate the field spell. Overlay Ding on top of the Galatea, activate the effect to attach. We're going to attach Orcust Nightmare, and then link the Ding with these materials with the Barricade Borg Blocker. Go into our copy of Rusty. Now this is where the combo gets a little bit different, and so we're going to use Rusty's effect to send a copy of Cloak, whereas last time we sent Boots. So you dump Cloak to the graveyard, and then you want to set your copy of Fogblade. So I'll leave it face up so we know what it is. Now we can activate Cloak effect, banish Cloak, search Boots. Since we have another Phantom Knight on the board, we have Rusty, we can special summon Boots, and now we have two effect monsters, so we can link these away into a Anaconda. Activate don't activate Anaconda's effect yet. Or I guess you could, it doesn't really matter. But we can also use Boots effect, banish itself, search the rank up spell, set that. But yeah, activate Anaconda's effect, pay 2,000 life points, dump your Red Eyes Fusion and your Red Eyes cards. I can't find mine right now. Let's see. Where are they? Yeah, I literally can't find them. Here's the Red Eyes. Dark Magician. Here's an unsleeved Red Eyes Fusion. So you dump your Red Eyes Fusion and your Red Eyes materials to the graveyard. Summon your copy of Dragoon to any link point. You do want to make sure that the other Rusty link point is open, but other than that, the links don't really matter. or I guess we could have summoned this here. And so this is our inboard on our turn 1. We'd have Rusty, Dragoon, Anaconda, Token, Field Spell, and then we have the set Rank Up Magic and Fog Blades. Then on the opponent's turn, what we can do is once again activate our Nightmare, use Nightmare's effect to dump Cymbals, use Cymbal's effect to revive then Girsu. And again, we can either use the send effect and send our opponent's card, or we can use the attach effect and attach like a Nightmare, then use Rusty to pop Ding to remove the material, then rank up the Ding into a copy of Calamities. So overall we end up with like Rusty, Anaconda, Token, Dragoon, Calamities, and then Fog Blade. So really tough board for the opponent to play around, and once again I do think it plays around cards like Dark Ruler and Droplets relatively well, because if you play it right you won't have Calamities and Dragoon up at the same time. Like your opponent has to play around Dragoon, Fog Blade, and then they also have to deal with Calamities. So it's like they just can't activate Dark Ruler at the start of the turn because Calamities isn't on board yet. You know what I mean? Like they have to hold their stuff for the Calamities too. And so that's really awesome, and you still have the Fog Blade, which plays around both pretty well. So pretty good board. Usually win most games where this resolves. But that's pretty much it for the second combo. It's just a slight variation on the first, and being able to add that extra copy of Anaconda and Dragoon. For this next combo, all we're going to need is a copy of Cymbal Skeletons, and then any level 1 extender. Just any kind of way to special summon a level 1 monster. And so I prefer to use Magician Souls like I'm using the actual deck profile, but you also have options like Jester Confit, Cyber Dragon Noster, or even Sky Striker Hornet Drones, which I'm using here. Any way to get a level 1 monster on the board with the Cymbal Skeletons is going to work. It doesn't matter what it is, just find some way to get it done. And so for this combo, well, in this case we do have to summon the Hornet Drones first. So we're going to start by activating Hornet Drones, using that to get a token, and then linking that token into a copy of Linkuriboh. And this is really the only important thing about this combo. We just need to get Linkuriboh on the board somehow, so that we can use the graveyard effect to utilize Linkross tokens. That's the key here. We just need a way to get to Linkuriboh. And so from here, we can normal summon our Cymbal Skeletons, link this away into our copy of Galatea. And as you're going to see from here, this actually allows our full standard combo that I just showed you guys. We just, yeah, it's a little bit different, but for the most part. Now we can link Galatea into Linkross, activate Linkross's effect to summon 2 tokens. From here, we contribute one of the tokens to revive the Linkuriboh. And now from here, we have a couple of different options. And so we could link these away into Barricade, Borg Blocker, and then use the Cymbal Skeletons in the graveyard. We could use that to revive Galatea. But the downside there is that we can't actually do the full combo like we used to, because if we activate Galatea's effect to shuffle back Cymbal Skeletons to get our field spell, now we don't have anything, like we don't have access to Cymbal Skeletons in the graveyard or Nightmare, so we don't have a way to summon Ding on the opponent's turn, which allows us to go into VFD. So if we don't have access to VFD, then we're just ending on maybe 1 or 2 Fog Blades, which isn't terrible, but you know, it's not amazing either. And so you do have the ability to actually do that. You could just use Galatea's effect to set one of the Orcust spell or traps, link up into Rusty, use Rusty to get the double Fog Blade, and then you end on double Fog Blade. That's not bad. But you also, if you had an extender, you could end on the standard play as well. Something else you could do is, instead of linking into the Barricade Board Blocker, you could actually link the Linkuriboh and Linkross into a copy of, let's see, where is it? Into Union Carrier, because both of them are Cybers. So you could link both of these into a Union Carrier, use the Cymbal Skeleton still to revive the Galatea, then activate Galatea's effect. You could shuffle back the Cymbal Skeletons, and that can get you maybe a, let's see, a copy of Crescendo. And then you can use Union Carrier and equip a copy of Buster Sword. So you can actually Buster Lock your opponent with this setup. That's pretty cool. So you would end with Buster Lock on a Galatea, or you could actually make Ding, but then Ding would cut off your Crescendo. But you could Buster Lock on Ding too, which would be kind of cool. But in this case, you have Galatea, Crescendo, Buster Lock, and then the Galatea is at 2800 because of the Buster and Union Carrier, and also if it's linked, it can't be destroyed at battle anyway, so it's tough to get rid of. It's big, locking the opponent onto the extra deck. And also if your opponent still wants to attack over it somehow, you could also tribute the token for Link Rebo and then protect either one of these from attacks like that as well. That's pretty neat. And if everything stays on board, Union Carrier can still get you to like your Orcust Nightmares and stuff like that and get your engine going for next turn as well. So there's a ton of really neat things you can do with this play as well, just from the same starting cards. Going into that Union Carrier is pretty nice. Something else you can do is, instead of equipping the Buster and searching for Crescendo, what you can also do is search for the field spell and then equip, let's see, where is it, Orcust Nightmare to the Galatea, and then you can overlay Ding Girsu on top of the Galatea. And when you overlay Ding, the Nightmare that's equipped is going to fall off because it was equipped to Galatea, which is no longer on the field. So Nightmare will go to the graveyard. Now you can activate Nightmare's effect, and you can use that to send a copy of Wand to the grave. Then you can activate Wand's effect, banishing itself. Special summon back Nightmare. And now you can link the Nightmare and Ding into a copy of Anaconda, and then Anaconda can allow you to summon Dragoon. And so this just ends on Dragoon, and sure, you could have done this without doing all these extra steps in the middle. You just could have summoned 2 monsters and made Dragoon. But the cool thing about this play is that it at least gets your graveyard set up, because on your opponent's turn, you could always use Nightmare to send Cymbals, and Cymbals can summon Ding, so you end up with 2 disruptions like this. Or if not disruptions, you could at least get more access to your engine, because you could also revive Galatea, that can get you to a Crescendo or to a return, and there's a lot more that you can do with it this way. So that's another really cool way to combo off, and all you need is, once again, a Cymbal Skeleton and then any level 1 extender or a way to get Link Rebo. If you already have Link Rebo in your graveyard, you just need any extender at all, and then you can just summon back Link Rebo from the graveyard. So that's another cool thing that you can do about this play. So you don't necessarily need that level 1 monster at the start, you just need to have Link Rebo pretty much. Alright, so for this next combo, we are going to need a level 1 monster once again, as well as a tuner. It doesn't matter which one's the extender, so you could have a level 1 extender, then normal summon a tuner, or you could have a tuner extender. Like this could be a quick launch, the special summon Tracer, and then you just normal summon any other level 1 monster. Doesn't really matter how you do it, but you got to get a tuner and a level 1 monster on the board. And so for this, we are going to start by activating our Hornet drones to summon our token, and then the token will be linked into Link Rebo once again. Next, we're going to normal summon our copy of Tracer, and then we can link these away into a Crystron Halkifibrax. Now we're going to activate Halkifibrax's effect and special summon a copy of Gamma from the deck. Now from here, we can link our Halkifibrax into a Linkross. That's going to allow us to get 2 tokens. And now we are going to tribute a token to revive our copy of Link Rebo. So then from here, we can link, or not link, but synchro the other token with our Gamma, and then go into a copy of Martial Metal Marcher, and use Metal Marcher's effect to revive the Gamma. And now from here, we're going to go into a Union Carrier play, but we have a couple of options with how we want to do that. And so, because we want to definitely do it with the Linkross, that's for sure. Or I guess we don't necessarily have to, but we have a bunch of monsters of the same types and attributes. Like we have Cyburst, let's see, Psychic Light, these are both light, and then this is the only wind and the only machine. But when we make our Union Carrier, it being machine means we can equip a it means that we can equip any of our Orcust cards to it. So we want to keep this on board and or the Link Rebo on board, because these are what we can equip our Orcust cards to, because Link Rebo is dark, meaning that we can make Union Carrier with Linkross and Link Rebo, or with Gamma and Linkross. And so let's just go for it with Linkuriboh and Linkross, since we did that in the previous combo. And then once again, we are going to summon a copy of Union Carrier. So now from here, we can activate Union Carrier's effect, and we're going to equip a copy of Nightmare to the Martial Metal Marcher. And now we can link the Metal Marcher and the Gamma into a copy of Barricade Board Blocker. Now we can activate our copy of Nightmare in the Graveyard. So we can banish Nightmare. Let's see, where is it? We don't want to dump Cymbals here because we don't have any other Orcust cards in the graveyard yet. But what we could do instead is to dump a copy of Wand, and we could play from Wand. So send Wand to the grave, banish Wand, special summon Nightmare, and then from here we could go into Rusty and make a Rusty play. We don't have access to the Orcust engine, so we're not going to be able to set up a VFD, but you could go to double Fog Blade like this. Or if you wanted to, you could also go into a Anaconda and then a Dragoon play. But regardless, it's how you get two random cards that don't necessarily need to be Orcust cards into your Orcust engine. Even if you're not ending on Orcust cards, on your next turn you have the ability to follow up, because regardless you're going to have Nightmare in your grave. So this is a really cool combo for that. It's not the best, obviously, but it is handy. You want to know that resolving a Needle Fiber by itself, as long as you have access to Linkross, gets you to the Orcust engine and allows you to make plays. So that's pretty awesome. Alright, so now let's talk about what we can do with the two best cards in the deck, Girsu and Quick Launch. And with this, there's so much you can do, and just like I discussed in the deck profile, you can go ahead and start with your Quick Launch plays, and you can use that to go into a Board Savage Dragon before even using your normal summon, and then you can normal summon Girsu and have that Savage Dragon as protection. That's always one option. Or you can go through the entire Girsu play and then follow it up with the Quick Launch and then end on an even stronger board on top of that. Or you can use the Quick Launch in case your Girsu gets interrupted. We can go over all three of those scenarios, but there's so much that you can do with this combination of cards. And so we're just going to start with the basic Quick Launch combo, and so for that you would activate your Quick Launch, use that to special out a copy of Tracer, then you would link your Tracer into a copy of Striker Dragon. You can activate Striker Dragon's effect to search for a copy of Boot. Then you can activate Striker Dragon's effect, destroying itself, adding Tracer back to your hand. From here you can go ahead and activate Boot, and then use Boot effect special Tracer effect to destroy Quick Launch, and then summon a Recharger from your deck. This is going to lock you in the dark still, but that's not a huge problem for this deck because we would be locked in the darks anyways. The only downside is that you're not able to use the Linkross combos and stuff like that. So it's still okay, but it could be better. It's not too terrible though. So then from here we could Synchro summon into a Board Savage Dragon. Or any level 8 Synchro really, but Savage Dragon in this case is pretty solid. And then we can use Savage Dragon's effect to equip a Striker Dragon, so it's going to have one negate on the Savage Dragon, and we still have not even used our normal summon yet. So then from here, you can normal summon Girsu, activate Girsu's effect to dump Nightmare, and in this case, because we have other monsters on board, we're unable to use the effect to generate tokens, and that's actually kind of big, because that's a main way of how we get our plays going. But even without that, we're able to do a good amount of damage with just this, and so we can activate Nightmare's effect, using Nightmare to send a copy of Wand to the graveyard, banish the Wand, summon the Nightmare, and then link both of these into a copy of Anaconda. And an Anaconda effect gets us to Dragoon. And so this is a really safe play because you're summoning that Savage Dragon first, and that's going to allow you to end on Savage Dragon and Dragoon. Very, very tough for most decks to get over. You have two Omni negates, and the Dragoon itself is just very difficult for opponents to get over. So that's pretty awesome. You've got the Nightmare and Grave as a follow-up for next turn. And so this is pretty much the safe play that you can make with Girsu plus Quick Launch. This is the safest play you can make, but next I'm going to show you the most powerful play that you can make. And so let's run it back a bit. Alright, so once again we're starting with Girsu Quick Launch. We're going to start by normal summoning the Girsu, activating the effect to dump a copy of Orcust Nightmare to the graveyard, then activate the other effect to get a copy of token. Not a copy of token, but to summon a token. And then from here, we're going to run through the combo with just Girsu exactly the same. But I'm going to show you what we can do with Quick Launch at the end of it to end on a more powerful board as well. And so once you get to the point where you have Rusty, Field Spell, Rank Up Spell, Fog Blade, as well as a token left on board, what you can do from here with that Quick Launch that we still have in our hand is you can go ahead and activate Quick Launch, summon your copy of Tracer, and then activate Tracer's effect, destroying the token that was left over from the Linkross. Use that to go into the recharger, and then we can just go ahead and summon our Savage Dragon here. And now we even have more things in the graveyard for the Savage Dragon to equip to itself. So we could get Galatea. That's going to give you 2 negates as well as giving you a bigger boost to your attack over anything else. But sometimes I feel like you want the Galatea in your grave in case you want to follow up on your next turn and you don't have much to work with. So I kind of like keeping it in grave for Cymbal skeletons like that. So you also have Barricade Borg Blocker, which is another link too. So you still get those 2 negates, but slightly less attack because it's only 1000 attack normal. But that's fine. So attach or equip Barricade Borg Blocker to your Savage Dragon, and then this would be your ending turn 1 board. Then on your opponent's turn, you have the Savage Dragon negate. You've got your Fog Blade, and then you can, once again, just like in the first play, we can banish the Nightmare, revive Ding, pop with Rusty, potential Ding Send. That's 2 more. Then we have the Rank Up Spell, which would allow us to go into a copy of True King of All Calamities, and we can just floodgate the opponent from here. And so this is a very, very tough board for our opponents to play through. And again, all we need is Quick Launch plus Girsu. So 2 copies, or 1 of 2 cards, but each of them are 3 of. So very consistent combo. Alright, so now we've seen what happens if you use Quick Launch first and use that to protect your Girsu play. That allows you to end on Savage plus Dragoon. But we've also seen what we can do if we start with Girsu and then just go full hand with Girsu combo and then follow that up with Quick Launch, when that was able to summon us Savage, Rusty, VFD, Fog Blade, Field Spell, and like a whole bunch of other stuff. So that was clearly the better play. But now I'm going to show you what happens if we do start with Girsu, but then it gets interrupted by like a Veiler or Imperm, something like that. We're just going to assume they're able to negate the Girsu. And so let's say what happens if you normal summon Girsu, activate the effect, and they have Imperm. Well, that stinks because now you don't get the send and the effect's negated, so you also don't get the token. If they have Ash Blossom and you're still able to make the token, then it opens up the line for other plays, but this is worst case scenario where you can do nothing else with your Girsu. What you can do with the Quick Launch in this scenario is activate it, special summon your copy of Tracer, and then from here, if you already have access to a Link Rebo in your graveyard, you can go into Needle Fiber here and go into the Needle Fiber play. If you do not have a Link Rebo in your graveyard, then what you could do instead is to go through the entire like basic Rokket play. So what I mean by that is linking this into a Striker Dragon, using Striker Dragon's effect to add a copy of Boot to your hand, activate Striker Dragon's effect, destroy itself, and then add back Tracer, activate Boot, special summon Tracer, and then Tracer effect to destroy Boot, and then special summon a copy of Recharger from your deck. From here, you can synchro summon both of these into a copy of Chaos Ruler, the Chaotic Magical Dragon, and then activate Chaos Ruler's effect. And from here, there are so many cards that you could hit with Chaos Ruler that you could send to the grave that allow you to extend. You really just need a way to summon 1 more monster, and then you're able to do a bunch more plays. So if you mill like any light monster, Cymbal Skeleton, Orcust Nightmare, anything, there's so many potential options. It literally does not matter. Then it's going to allow you to end on a pretty good board. And already you have the ability to go into Anaconda and Dragoon. It's just what you can do on top of that. And so let's say, for example, you just milled any light monster, like a Gamma. Let's say you milled Gamma. What you can do from here is you can go ahead and, like, at worst, you just milled Gamma and a bunch of spell cards, and then you don't add Gamma to your hand, you let it just go to the grave. What you can do from here is you can just link both of these into a Galatea, activate Chaos Ruler's effect, banishing the Orcust monster, the Girsu, as well as your Gamma to special summon the Chaos Ruler back. Now from here, Galatea's effect is live, and so you can shuffle back the Girsu into your deck, and then set one of your spell or traps. So you can go Crescendo, or you can go Field Spell. And so from here we can link both of these into, or actually no. Let's see, what's the play here? I guess it just depends on how you want to play it out, because you could still go, you could set Crescendo actually, and then you'd have Crescendo, but that's not really that much you could do. It really depends on your mills. It's so hard to do this. I don't want to show you guys like, oh, I milled all the best extenders in the deck so I can make this crazy board. But worst case scenario, if you just mill a light monster, it at least can set up a Galatea play, and then from here you could just go Rusty, and then use Rusty to set double Fog Blade, or again you still have always access to Anaconda and Verte, or I mean Anaconda and Dragoon. So there's a lot you can do here. It just depends on what you mill, so it's kind of weird to do in like this scenario. But yeah, if you mill like a Cymbals or a Nightmare, then obviously you could do more. And so at worst, once again, it's Rusty and double Fog Blade, or Anaconda plus Dragoon. At best, you're milling like Nightmare or Cymbals, and that allows you to extend even further and to add, you know, Rusty plus VFD, or Anaconda plus Galatea Cymbal Skeleton, stuff like that. Like there's so many cool plays that you can make from here. It just depends on what you mill. For this final combo, I'm going to show you how we can turn a single copy of Quick Launch into Anaconda plus Dragoon and Galatea Crescendo, or into Rusty and VFD. All we need to do is get a little bit lucky with a Chaos Ruler, and for that all we have to do is mill Cymbal Skeletons and a light, or we could just start with Cymbal Skeletons in our hand and mill any light. We just need the light in graveyard for Chaos Ruler pretty much, or we can mill an Orchestrated Nightmare. That would also work. And so I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how this combo goes through. And let's pretend for the sake of the example that we don't even have the Cymbal Skeletons. Well, actually no, we'll keep the Skeletons, but we'll assume we have nothing else, just Skeletons Quick Launch. And so you start by activating the Quick Launch, activating the effect to go through your standard play with that. So you would, let's see, where is it? Special summon your copy of Tracer, and then link the Tracer into a Striker Dragon. Activate Striker Dragon's effect to search Boot. Activate Boot, Striker Dragon effect to destroy itself. Add back Tracer, Boot effect to special summon Tracer, and then Tracer effect to destroy Boot, and special summon a copy of Recharger from your deck, and then synchro both of these into your copy of Chaos Ruler. And so once again, you got to get a little lucky with the Chaos Ruler, but depending on how you mill your deck, you can get very, very lucky. And that's one of the most fun things about this deck, is just that aspect of luck. I guess inside all Yu-Gi-Oh players is a little bit of gambler, and this is what we can do. So I've already power shuffled the deck, but I'm going to shuffle the deck one more time and give you guys a live example of what happens with this. And so we already have the Cymbal Skeleton, so we're able to make a play by just normal summoning it, but again, milling any light monster, any extender, or really being able to do anything with these 5 cards turns this into so much more. So Chaos Ruler effect, and we mill, okay, Gamma, so that's light, Fleur de Lis, another light, Monster Reborn, rank up spell, that sucks, and then Driver. And so what we can do is we can add Gamma to our hand, I guess, because we're already locked into Darks because of Tracer, so it's not like we can use the Fleur de Lis, but at least Gamma maybe comes up, you know. It doesn't really matter here. We just need a light engrave, and we've got multiples now. And so what we can do from here with this setup is we can normal summon our Cymbal Skeletons and then go into a copy of Galatea. Now we can activate Chaos Ruler's effect in the graveyard, and we can banish, let's say, banish the Fleur de Lis, and then banish Striker Dragon. And then we can special summon our Chaos Ruler. Now we can link both of these into a copy of Anaconda. Oh, and the Chaos Ruler would be banished, by the way, per its effect. Now we can activate Cymbal Skeletons, banish that, revive the Galatea, shuffle back the copy of Cymbal Skeletons into the deck, and then use that to set a copy of Crescendo. And then we can activate the Anaconda's effect and special summon Dragoon. And so this is just an example of what we can do, and we still have the Gamma in hand, but this is just an example of what we can do with a single quick launch and just get kind of lucky. And there we didn't get super lucky, but imagine if we had milled a Nightmare or a Girsu or anything else. There's so much that you can do in that scenario to just get to a play, and that's one of the more fun things about this deck. Is just opening a quick launch is so nuts because you can either go for your like crazy play starting off and then, you know, add a Savage Dragon on top of that, or you can just go into like a Chaos Ruler, mill 5, and that sometimes just gets you there. Like you mill that Girsu, that Armageddon Knight, the Cymbal Skeletons, the Light Monster. It's nuts, and so I really do enjoy that a lot. But alright guys, that's pretty much it for this Rokket Orcust combo guide. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know we spent most of the time just on the Orcust combos, but those are the most important ones. You need to know those first, and then on top of those, the Rokket engine just adds more to it. And so, hope you guys enjoyed this combo guide. If you want to see a deck profile, definitely check out the build that I already posted on this channel. It's slightly different from some of the combos, like I'm not playing Destruction Sword or Hornet Drones, and some of the things are a little bit different, but most of the combos are still very applicable in that deck. So definitely check it out if you're looking for a build to get started with. But as always guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, tips, tricks, or suggestions, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.